हेलो। अगर आपको लगता है कि रिसर्च बहुत ही फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग है, कंफ्यूजिंग है, टाइम कंज्यूमिंग है, विश्वास करिए आप अकेले नहीं हैं। मैंने इस चीज को ऑब्जर्व किया है कि मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट और रिसर्च स्कॉलर दे स्टार्ट द रिसर्च विद ऑल एक्साइटमेंट, बट soon they feel stuck, lost or demotivated. In this video, I'll tell you what are the different reasons why we feel that the research is very difficult, and more importantly, I will tell you the way you can overcome with it. Hi, my name is Dr. Shashikant Dikshit. Welcome to my channel Decode Data with SKD, where I'll help research scholar or researchers to master um, research, statistics, analytics in a simple and practical way. So let's start with, without wasting time, let's start with what are the different reasons we have. The first reason that I feel is the reason is lack of clarity of research topic. Normally, what happens is when we start with the research, the first thing that we have to go for is the research topic. But what we do is either we take the research topic that is very broad. I will otherwise we'll take the research topic that is very vague in term, or sometimes we copy it simply from the other researchers, right? Now, because of this, what will happen is this basically create a problem for you because you don't know what type of data to collect, you don't know what are the different variables to study, and even you don't know what why these variable to be studied. And finally, the most important thing, what conclusion you want to draw out of it. And this is what all basically bring the confusion and frustration within you. It is not that the selection of topic is different. It is because the starting point is basically not clear to you, right? So this is the first reason that we have. The second reason is basically the poor understanding of the research methodology. See, when we go for a research methodology is very important issue for you or for a researcher, right? You have see, research is not just a reading or writing. Research is basically a process that where you will find something, you will verify it, you will prove it, and then you will explain it, right? So normally what happens is people skip this particular stage, and they don't give that importance to this stage. So what happens is they don't know what is research design, they don't know what is sampling technique, what is hypothesis, what statistical tool they have to go for, and this finally leads to a confusion when they move ahead, right? So this is the second most important point that you have to keep in mind, that the type of research methodology you have to adopt for your research. The third and the most important point is basically the fear about statistics and data analytics. Simple. I don't know. I am weak. This won't work actually. Right? When you go through a research process, what research process is, research is not only finding something, but research is whatever the finding you have done, you have to have the you have to justify it, and to justify it you need the concept of statistics and data analytics. Otherwise it won't be possible for you to basically go through this justification, right? So normally what happens is because I am weak, I try not to go for more on this topic. And what will happen finally, if you want to do the analysis, no analysis without data. So data, statistics, analysis, data analytics. So this is what you have to take care of when you are talking about the research. This is the third most important point. The fourth most important point is the difficulty in literature review. Now, uh, it is not only the difficulty, most of the time we don't know the importance of literature review, right? So what we normally do is we try to go for different type of papers and basically review it based on our own convenience. Like most of the time what happen is people even don't know from where they have to get the paper related to their own topic, right? So this what this makes is basically If you don't do the proper literature review, the most important thing is that you don't come with the research gap, and research gap is the most important point when you are talking about the research, because without gap there is no research. What you will do, right? Or it's going to be a repetition if there is no gap, right? So this is what is happened, and people ignore it, and they just do the research literature review based on their own convenience. That is another most important point, where you don't know from where you have to find out the paper, how to read them, how to identify the research gap, right? So this makes process slow and sometimes very frustrating. And actually, literature review is very frustrating process if you don't do it in a proper manner. This is the third point. So the fourth most important point. Then the fifth point is lack of proper guidance. This is another most important thing that normally I find it, because I have guided most of the students. They are doing their PhD, and still they are the guide is busy. They are not in a position to understand what guide want, or sometimes guide is not able to communicate what is basic what they are looking for. So that is again a very important point. So right mentorship is basically one of the things that, of course, this is not in your hand, but what you have to do is, you have to have the people, those who can guide you for the process for research. Otherwise it will be very difficult, and it leads to the um, basically, then what happen is that if you're not having a right mentorship, you don't have that structured approach to, and this unstructured approach always leads to nothing. So you will find nothing at the end of your research, or maybe you will frustrated because of it. Another that most important point is the time management. You have to understand that a time research is a long process, and in within the research you have a different component that you have to cover up, right? Now you don't have, of course, you cannot go for an unlimited time of research, right? So you have to bound your research within a time period. Now within the time period you have to manage your time properly, right? Normally what happen is people are failed to manage the time, and then they finally lead to a low quality of work. That is another point. And the seventh point is that seventh point is actually very important point according to me. We want perfection. My guide want perfection. Guide wants everything should be very perfect. Now the problem is what? Because of this perfection pressure, right? What will happen is you are not able to concentrate on anything. So my suggestion is just basically go through step by step perfection instead of going for an entire perfection. You will lead to something. And second most important thing is, when you are doing research, right, you may miss something. That is not wrong. Why? Because the from where you stop, someone will start your research, right? So whatever you missed in your research, if you indicate that in your research only, research document, people will take that and will start the research onward, right? So there is nothing wrong if you are not perfect in that one. So don't think that things are not perfect. You just focus on every step and make it perfect. Is what my suggestion. Now, the most important thing, what is the solution? So I'm just giving you solution in 1 or 2 minutes, right? It's very simple, nothing to do, right? First is start with your topic that is very clear and focused. Don't copy from somewhere. Don't take a broad topic. Take a topic that is of your interest. Of course, I'll create one more video on this, but soon I'll upload this video. But for this, just simple. My suggestion is go for a clear topic, not a very vast topic, and must be of your interest, in which you have some interest. That is the first thing. Second thing that you have to go for is learn the basic of statistics, right? Because whatever you do, you have to have that statistics flavor in your research, right? You have to understand. how to apply that statistics, how to verify everything that you are doing. So this is what my suggestion, the second step, right? And of course, mind it, I'll tell you, statistics is not difficult. Keep watching my videos. You will find very easy that you will find it very easy, right, to apply in the research. The third most important thing is you just break your research in small tasks, right? In small part, like I already said that there is a number of components that you have to go for. So entire process. So small part, right? And then start doing it. Like let's start with the literature review first. Let's start with the different type of topics first, right? And then select a topic. Once you have a topic, try to collect the literature review. Read that literature review only. Don't think about anything, right? This is what you have to do. Third is, my suggestion is, initially you have to read two or three more papers for your research, for paper that is related to your topic, right? That is what more. Another most important point is take the guidance, right? It may not be your main guide. It may be someone who can guide you, who can tell you what to do and how to do. That is another thing. And the most important thing is, especially in case of research, because this is one of the longest process you can have, right? You have to have the focus on the progress of everything, right? Let me tell you the example. Like if you're doing a literature review, so now you have to just fix the days that next 15 days I'll do the literature review. 20 days I'll do the literature review. And in that literature review, what you'll do, you will basically go for number of papers that you study, right? And just focus on the literature review. So forget everything, right? So don't don't be perfect. Don't think about the perfection in the literature review. But just do the literature review and try to find out the gap, right? If you follow all this, I assure you that you will never be confused. You will never be frustrated for your research. Hope this is clear to you all. Thank you very much for watching my video. I request you to subscribe my channel and keep watching my video, because in future videos I will go through this same concept and tell you everything step by step. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.